Welcome to the lesson of the day. Welcome to the last lesson of this year. Welcome to receiving the message or the congratulations of having successfully accomplished a 1 year mind training. And this in the practice of lesson 365 of A Course in Miracles. And of course, this doesn't really mean anything on the timeline, but it means everything out of time in our mind that is at the gates of heaven and just takes the leftover, the rest of all past memory with him, with her, with yourself, and go home in his mind, go home in heaven, go home into the light. We are so fortunate that we have been given A Course in Miracles, a mind training program written down in words, a lesson of a day, everyday instructions, and a directive, a possibility, an opportunity to have an alternative thought instead of seeing or thinking meaningless thoughts. We have been given a tool that is guaranteed to be successful in its outcome. Speaking, there will not be a world to be seen, as it truly cannot be seen right now. And the guarantee and promise that you will leave this world because you already have left the world, because Jesus Christ is risen, is resurrected, and not just as the figure that you have in mind 2000 years ago in the description of the Bible, but as you, in your own mind, in your own experience. You have resurrected with him as you are celebrating with me your rebirth in this time now. You have resurrected from human split mind. You have resurrected from the suffering of believing to be this, to be a body you could see and perceive and feel, to a frequency that is immeasurably unbound, unlimited, and is therefore representing life itself, life eternal. You are the timelessness, the nowness, the knowingness of what God is. And as a brother and companion, to offer you companionship on that way home to our source, I can only express a big, big, big thank you and inviting us all into a celebration that maybe on this last day we are calling New Year's Eve is also expressed in form as a moment of celebration or partying to the point that, oh God, I am actually really glad this year is over. And I have it expressed with some friends around me. I'm sorry for this year that we have passed or are passing, and I wish you a much, much better year than this year, though this year was the perfect opportunity to heal our mind. And so we release this year also with a great, great thank you. And thank you, Holy Spirit, for showing us in our mind what cannot be reconciled and directing us to that certainty and the way where everything is already reconciled. And so we are seeing that we cannot justify nor defend ourselves any longer in limited thoughts, in separation thoughts, but we really have to go all the way, and we are willing to go all the way where we experience a oneness of mind, where we are completely certain that that presence of God is not going to leave us, has never left us, and is literally impossible to leave us since we opened it up in our mind to a present memory. Congratulations, thank you forever and forever. And I think that is really what these final lessons are about, in directing us to follow Him, to acknowledge that we are fulfilling a true purpose of which this world doesn't know, and that this purpose is dedicated to healing of the mind, to waking up from the dream, and complete action of forgiveness that lets us recognize what we are in His mind. And already, if I'm just gonna give you a sentence of the introduction, and I'm gonna go all the way to the beginning of the second part, the introduction of lessons 221 to 365. Before we started this sequence during summertime, right? We were just in the middle of summertime here in the northern hemisphere and wintertime in the southern hemisphere. We have received instructions to how to do this second part of lessons, in which there is supposed to happen an acquisition of true perception, a true seeing being restored in us, a vision being restored that allows us to think and perceive with the Holy Spirit, that allows us to look beyond these limitations, and that allows us to feel this direct contact with Him, which is with the Holy Spirit, with Christ within us, with God Himself. And it was expressed, just gonna use here maybe 1, 2 paragraphs. In the fourth paragraph of this introduction, that now do we come to Him, right? He told us in the first paragraph already that we leave the world of pain, right? And that is very important, to direct the mind. We're not going to stay here. We're not going to stay in time space. We're not going to stay in perception of what is actually meaningless. And if you have nothing else to do, then please share with me, join me by tomorrow, in case you're still here, lesson number 1. And we're gonna start out anew, maybe in a different form, in a different way, but we again review and work lessons, ideas that show us, particularly in the first 35 lessons of this course, the meaninglessness of the world we see, the meaninglessness of pain and suffering that a human being could possibly feel. And that is what we leave. We leave the perception of meaninglessness when we say we leave the world. And in the fourth paragraph of this introduction, he offers us that now do we come to Him. And so here's the Him capitalized, of course. To Him with but His word upon our minds and hearts. And that word that created action, that extension of what is forever true in us, that is really what our extension and action of mind is. And wait for Him to take the step to us that he has told us through his voice he would not fail to take when we invited him. We are only asked to invite him and to listen and to acknowledge the truth of his word. He has not left his son in all his madness, nor betrayed his trust in him. And from there he goes in the last sentence, it says, we say the words of invitation that his voice suggests, and then we wait for him to come to us. So there is this invitation through prayer and meditation to literally let that revelatory experience be shown and revealed to us. And that is literally what is called that the prophecy is fulfilled. It can only be fulfilled when, now, here and now, and now are all ancient promises upheld and fully kept, and no step remains for time to separate from its accomplishment. For now we cannot fail. And this is what happens when we sit quietly and wait upon our Father. And he has willed, it is the will of God to come to us when we have recognized it. It is our will that he do so. We need to will that above all else. We will to will that as an expression of the heart of hearts. And this is really also my New Year's resolution, or should we say my my message to myself, to all the world, in which we join and share his grace and his love and his light. So it is, with other words expressed in that song, I must follow. Welcome. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. Welcome to a lesson of the day. Welcome in his mind, in your own whole mind.